Tonight on CTV News, proposed law changes will help keep engineers in check. $40 million is committed towards rebuilding and repairing community assets, and the clown doctors celebrate 5 years of making patients smile. This is CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. New proposed law changes will ensure negligent engineers won't be able to easily escape punishment. Building and Construction Minister Nick Smith unveiled the changes at a function last night. Emma Cropper reports.
3.5 years on from the collapse of the badly designed CTV building, and the government is proposing changes to the practices and penalties handed down to engineers.
It did not meet the standards of the day. The engineering design fell below that which this profession stands for. The principal design engineer was not sufficiently experienced or competent.
As part of the proposed changes, engineers won't be able to resign from their professional body in order to dodge scrutiny over shoddy work. Alan Ray and David Harding are the two engineers behind the faulty design of the CTV building, which killed 115 people. Both resigned from New Zealand's Institution of Engineers this year to avoid penalties.
It is not acceptable that a person can simply resign from their professional body to avoid any scrutiny of poor practice.
These proposed changes are being welcomed by IPENs, who will have more teeth to punish engineers who aren't meeting standards.
The engineers have always had the difficulty that it hasn't had statutory powers to, in essence, discipline its members, so it's a voluntary organisation, and the proposal by Dr Smith is actually moving us in line with the other professions, the medical, accounting, lawyers and others.
Dr Nick Smith, the Minister of Building and Construction, believes a robust system needs to hold engineers accountable. As part of this document, the government is proposing to raise the fine for shoddy work from $5,000 to $20,000.
The ones at the present time don't achieve the behavioural outcomes that most people would expect.
Minister Smith calls the current law odd. Following the leaky home saga, changes were made so a licensed practitioner was needed to build a single-storey home.
But to design a 20-storey commercial building, there is currently no legal requirement for actually any qualification or experience. That has to change.
Under the new rules, only registered engineers will have the authority to design and sign off multi-storey buildings. A new regulatory system separate to IPENs will also be established, consisting of 50% of its board being nominated by the profession and 50% by the Minister. Public submission on the changes is open until the end of October. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
The new Chinese Consul General for the South Island arrived in Christchurch this morning.
Meet Christchurch's newest Consul General. Straight from China, Mr. Ji Shijian and his wife Helen arrived safely into Christchurch. It's his first time in New Zealand, but for his wife, it's her first time returning in more than 20 years. She promoted trade in Beijing with CPIT in the 1990s. Mr. Ji Shijian has spent the last decade working as a Director General in Western Europe. Looking forward to his new role here, the Chinese consul says he's committed to building on the Chinese-Kiwi relationship.
To come, my colleagues and myself will spare no efforts to promote the exchanges and the cooperations between China and the South Island.
Mr. Ji Shijian says he's particularly eager to assist wherever he can with the reconstruction of Christchurch.
As China has suffered several earthquakes in the past few years already, we have some experiences to share with our friends here in Christchurch.
During his service in New Zealand, the Chinese consul is particularly excited to build on the Chinese relationship with the Antarctic.
Due to the location of Christchurch, I do believe that China could have more cooperations with local relevant parties to expand our existing cooperations in this area.
Building on the great work of his predecessor, Madam Tan, one important focus is building the tourism sector. Mr. Ji Shijian says the South Island is a beautiful place that attracts many Chinese tourists.
I think we have more things to be done to promote tourism here in South Island. We encourage more Chinese tourists to come, and I think this will provide some opportunities for both sides.
The new Christchurch Chinese Consul General says for him, it's about taking the relationship between the South Island and China to a whole new level. Joel Batista, CTV News.
The Christchurch City Council is committing more than $40 million towards repairing and rebuilding community facilities.
Much missed community facilities like libraries and pools are to be repaired and rebuilt. At yesterday's Earthquake Recovery Committee of the Whole meeting, the council voted to set aside nearly $30 million to repair and rebuild 86 buildings, making up 31 vital community facilities. Another $11 million will help repair 15 council-owned heritage buildings. Mayor Leanne Dalzell says work will begin immediately on many of the facilities. Now that funding has been approved, the focus is on repairing earthquake-damaged buildings that are closed and rebuilding facilities that have been demolished. The repair work should be completed within the next year, and the rebuilds will take an extra year to complete. The City Council received feedback from the community boards over which facilities were most important. Sumner's Museum, Community Centre and Library will be rebuilt inside a new $10 million combined facility. Bishopdale locals also received the news they were hoping for. Instead of repairing the earthquake-damaged library and community centre, a brand new facility will be built for $2.8 million. Repairs were first approved more than a year ago, but pressure from the residents and the local community board has seen the council commit to rebuilding the 1970s facility. Mayor Dalzell says the council made the funding commitment before finalising insurance because it was important to accelerate the process to get these priority facilities open once more. The council is also continuing to look for other funding sources for the rebuild of its community facilities. The cash-strapped City Council has already received donations to help rebuild some of its community facilities, like the new Aranui Community Centre.
A community civic service will be held in Ashburton next Thursday to remember the victims of the shootings at the Work and Income Office. The service will be held at Baring Square East between Havelock Street and Cameron Street. It's open to anyone who wants to pay their respects and remember the lives of Peg Noble and Lee Cleveland, who were fatally killed following a shooting rampage in the town on Monday. Ashburton District Mayor Angus Mackay says the event will celebrate and remember the lives of two special people. The service is expected to run for about 45 minutes. Coming up, the clown doctors have been making patients smile for 5 years. More than 200 Christchurch trades workers met today for breakfast, learning more about Blue September, the awareness month for the Prostate Cancer Foundation.
Every year, 3,000 men are diagnosed with metastatic prostate cancer. Every year, 600 New Zealand men die from the illness. A scary statistic that Christchurch man Andrew Wilson knows well. Andrew was just 55 years old when he was diagnosed with cancer. A moment he'll never forget.
Yeah, just a whole lot of things just go through your mind. It takes a wee while to soak in to say, yes, you have got cancer and what's the next step.
More than 18 months ago, Andrew went to the doctor for a different problem. While he was there, a blood test was done. The results unpleasant. After a biopsy, hospital lists and more nasty results, Andrew went into surgery. Today he stands proud as a survivor of prostate cancer. His mission now is awareness, wanting others to know how important a checkup can be.
Well, it not only affects you as the bloke, you've got it easy. You just go through the surgery and then have the after effects, but your wife, your partner, your family, they're the ones that have to live with it as well, so it's just as hard on them.
New Zealand has one of the highest prostate cancer rates in the world. A common attitude for men is opting out of going to the doctors. Andrew Wilson wants this changed. He believes it's not only the men who suffer.
Well, men are very complacent about their health. You know, they macho image and they go, well, no, I don't need to go to the doctor, there's nothing wrong. Swallow their pride, and you know, if they love their wives and their partners and their family, they've got to think of them, not just to themselves.
At a tradie breakfast held in Christchurch today, members of the Prostate Cancer Foundation shared the importance of getting tested. The breakfast was held in support of Blue September, the awareness month for prostate cancer. Andrew believes what's needed to see men regularly getting checked is a generational change.
If we educate the younger blokes now and make them aware, and then by the time their turn comes around for checks from about 40 onwards, then yeah, maybe they will get in there and just go for it and say, right, let's get it done.
Fighting for change to ultimately save lives. Show your support for Blue September. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
And staying with the theme of health, it's the 5th birthday of clown doctors in New Zealand. They do all they can to make patients at the city's hospitals smile.
Laughter is the best medicine. Meet Christchurch's happiest people, the clown doctors. Their mission, to bring joy and laughter to hospital patients.
People are better for it. Yeah. People are happier. People appreciate something that's different than just another pill.
And they love it. For the 4 clown doctors I met today, there's no place they'd rather be.
Forever, sure. I don't know if I'll be here forever, but it'd be worth it. Yeah, we'd do it as long as we can.
Celebrating 5 years this week, the clowns sung to passers-by. A piece of cake keeps the doctor away. The clown doctors bring smiles to more than 1,000 patients, families and staff a month, creating a positive atmosphere at a time and place where often there's a lot of sadness. Christchurch's Dr. Bob says it's rewarding to bring happiness to the people.
We're working with people that have pain sometimes.
That's right, and sadness.
And sadness.
Yeah, so you got to have empathy.
Empathy, and then you got to
encourage.
Twist it around so that they feel a little bit lighter.
Yeah, you got to make it funny.
Yeah, it's got to make it fun.
And funny.
Nationwide, there are 28 clown doctors, 7 right here in Christchurch. Program Director Rita Notzel says it's great to see the patients' faces when the clown doctors are singing, playing the guitar, or just making jokes.
Oh, it's wonderful to see their faces, and it's the patients, it's their family members, it's the staff. As soon as the clown doctors arrive, they just change the whole atmosphere in the room and on the ward. They have quite a big impact.
The clown doctors established New Zealand Smile Day on the 7th of April, hoping to make society more humorous and heartfelt. They visit all the hospitals, focusing mainly on children and older patients.
When you're working with children, it's different than working with older people. There's different skills involved and different types of humour. Here at Princess Margaret Hospital, they use a lot of music. Music will trigger memories in older people and just kind of bring them alive, really.
This Sunday, the 7th of September, the clown doctors will be at the Shirley Toy Library from 1 p.m. for 2 hours, celebrating 5 years of smiles and holding humour workshops.
Oh, world, it smiles with you.
Joelle Batista, CTV News.
How could you resist? Shutting up shop to do good work in the community, hundreds of BNZ workers have left their desks to help others.
Trading in the uniform for a paintbrush to fight the graffiti problem in Christchurch. Bank of New Zealand's Michelle Van Gallen and the Christchurch team are painting over the graffiti. By midday, they are already on to their 4th site.
It's one of the biggest volunteering programs in New Zealand. We do it once a year. The whole network gets out about 4,000 of us helping communities, and it's awesome. The feeling we get out of it, the team spirit, the value that we bring to the people that we interact with every day is just amazing.
Teaming up with the Sunshine Rotary and the Christchurch City Council, 70 BNZ workers took to the streets, making a difference where they can, getting out of the office and into the community.
A lot of it's about the emotional contribution, but we believe that the value we add is over about $1 million worth of value to the community itself for the day.
According to a recent poll, 82% of people in Christchurch believe graffiti is a big concern.
So graffiti is something that leads to other crimes, lets perpetrators think they can get away with it. So besides the community good that it's doing, it's really sending a message to taggers that we don't support that. So with so many employees painting graffiti literally all over the city, we're going to make a big impact today.
Bill Johnson recently created an app called Tag Stoppers. Accessible by website or mobile, the idea to track the tagging around the city.
It basically allows people to report tags via their smartphone. They just take a picture of it, type in some little bits of information, and upload it, and automatically captures that location and submits it to the database. So it makes it really easy for folks like B and Z to come out because they can see where the tags are on a map and go out and paint over them.
There are already 350 tags recorded on Tag Stoppers. Wanting to fight the graffiti and get others in the community involved, Bill Johnson wants to see an end to the tagging. Slowly creating a photo database of all the graffiti, doing what he can to make a difference.
Send a signal that we will track who you are because I have a picture of every tag so I know who that tagger is. And you know, a lot of people don't know, but each individual tag there's a penalty of up to $2,000 for each tag that a tagger does. So if they randomly go around the city and put up 10 tags, that's $20,000 of potential fines they could face when caught.
Help report the tags you see at tagstoppers.co.nz. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
Still to come, a preview of the weekend's sport and, of course, your local weather. Here's Gordon Findlater with a preview of the weekend's sporting activities.
It may not have been as pretty and emphatic as the first three victories of the season, but nevertheless a win was a win last night as Canterbury got the job done against a resilient Otago side playing in front of their home crowd in Dunedin. Otago's early desire to retain possession saw reward with the home side going out to a 13-0 lead before Canterbury's attacking mindset paid off just before half-time when Nasi Manu literally pounced onto a loose ball to get a vital try after Canterbury had turned down the chance for an easy 3 points. After levelling the score early in the second half, it was Canterbury that seized the initiative with Rob Thompson going over the line to put Canterbury in the lead 20 points to 13. When Richie Moanga converted a penalty in the 63rd minute to put the lead out to 10, it looked like all but sealing the win, with only a late penalty goal to Otago making for an edgy final couple of minutes. The win for Canterbury made it 4 from 4 to start their ITM Cup campaign, while it also means the Red and Blacks are now the only team to have won after trailing at half-time this year. The most prestigious prize in New Zealand football is up for grabs on Sunday when Christchurch's Cashmere Technical take on Central United for the Chatham Cup. Cashmere Tech will be looking to do what few have done before when they go for back-to-back titles, having won last year's final on home soil. This year's final takes place at North Harbour Stadium with the All Auckland Women's Knockout Cup taking place before the Men's Chatham Cup. Kick-off between Cashmere and Central is at 2:30. The Royce Watson Memorial Hanmer Rally takes place tomorrow, commemorating 1 year since the death of rally driver Royce Watson at last year's Hanmer Rally. 50 top local drivers will compete over 78 kilometres of special stages around Hanmer Forest, with the first stage getting underway at 10:10. Spectator maps are available at autosport.org.nz, with a number of the 9 stages run over the same roads. And finally tonight, something not to be missed over the weekend takes place in the early hours of Monday morning when the Tall Blacks take on Lithuania in their round of 16 knockout match against Lithuania at the Basketball World Champs in Spain. The Tall Blacks narrowly qualified for the last 16 after they won their must-win game this morning against Finland 67-65. It may be early to predict results, but should the Tall Blacks pull off a remarkable win against the strong Lithuania side, we could see a quarter-final matchup against Australia should our neighbours win their round of 16 match against Turkey. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Finlater for CTV Sport.
And just a hand, Hamilton have beaten Christchurch Boys High School 20-17 in the National Schoolboy Rugby Contest. With the weekend about to commence, let's check out your regional weather.
Good evening, Canterbury. Let's take a look at your region's weather. First in Timaru, 10, and Temuka and Geraldine, 11 degrees. Methven, Ashburton and Rakaya hit 10 degrees today. While looking at Darfield, Leeston and Ralston, they had a high of 10 degrees. Looking now at Lincoln and Christchurch, a cloudy and cold day on 10. And over in Akarawa, they hit 10. Rangiora, Kaipui and Amberley also struck by some chilly weather with a high of 10. In the Hurunui district, Hanma Springs, Culverden and Cheviot had one of the region's lows on 9. And up the top in Kaikoura, a high of 9 degrees. But what's in store for tomorrow? In Timaru, mostly cloudy, but a few sunny periods developing during the afternoon. Expect light winds with an overnight low of 5 and a high of 11 degrees. In Ashburton, rather cloudy but cloud breaking during the afternoon. With some fine breaks, expect light winds as well, with an overnight low of 5 and a high of 11 degrees. Christchurch, a mostly cloudy Saturday in store, with cool temperatures and a slight wind. 5 degrees overnight with a high of 11 throughout the day. Up the top in Kaikoura, overcast and cold with moderate southeasterly winds, 5 degrees overnight and 9 throughout the day. And in other areas around the region, Temuka and Geraldine a high of 12 and a low of 4. Methven and Rakaya cloudy with a high of 11. Darfield, Leeston, Ralston and Lincoln can expect some morning cloud with a high of 11 degrees. Over in Akarawa, cloudy with a high of 11. Rangiora, Kaipui and Amberley, morning cloud with a high of 11 and low of 5. Culverden, Hanma Springs and Cheviot, a daytime high of 11 and overnight low of 5. And looking ahead for the rest of Canterbury, mostly fine and sunny on Sunday with light northeasterly winds. A period of cold southwesterly winds and cloud on Monday, clearing late in the day with frosts on Monday night. Fine and sunny on Tuesday with light northeasterly winds. Fine with high cloud increasing on Wednesday and moderate northeasterlies. Moderate to fresh northwesterlies expected on Thursday with high cloud. And that's your region's weather for this week. Have a great weekend.
And that's CTV News for Friday. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.